If you have not signed up for this groundbreaking webinar, you still have an opportunity to sign up. Watch for updates and check the community tab on YouTube and check the posts and stories on TikTok at thomas.legacy5 for registration requirements. Tune in now for the sneak peek of the Supreme Elite team. Troy, before I continue, is any part of the letter that you sent and all that, does that have to do even a morsel of what we go over in class?
Absolutely. It's got all of the core principles that you've taught. I attacked them in their private capacity as a private loan thing. And I followed it through, and I showed them the amount that where my loan package is in, and that it was 180 something million. I showed them that I put some bullet points together, showing them how it was not when it went through that it violated all principles according to and that it was after the point that I signed the contract. Okay. And so they violated the contract and not having. I did it all. Yes. The main elements that we go over in class night in and night out. Troy, what do you think about this? Let me ask your opinion about making credit acceptance by that whistleblower complaint back from me. I absolutely would do it after reading your paperwork and all of that stuff and having discussions with you. Man, you've got them fish over a barrel. That'll be easier than hunting ducks in a barrel.
He said, "I'm duck in a barrel."
And the thing about it is that I want to tell the class and whoever that's listening is that if you pay attention to the things that he teaches in this class and start taking notes, do your homework. Do your homework. You know, he can only lead a horse to water, but he can't make it drink. You have to drink yourself. Okay. And I've missed I've come down. I missed 85% of the classes and stuff, but I had the core things and the core principles down, and I read whatever he put out there. I throw it on my iPad and just start scrolling and reading. And
Sorry, I ain't lead you around the wrong path yet, have I?
No, not at all. And not only that, but I checked out with my securities attorney buddy, and he went over your brief, and he said, "Man, that's rock solid." He said, "I could have done a better job myself."
According to your conversation with your friend, the attorney, what we go over in group is right in line with the legal standards and the professionalism on how it has to look and what you need to know when you attack these people.
The words that he used was, "You're going about it standard operating procedures."
But is it worth it? Been wondering what truly matters to me. I know for sure it's not a
The new culture empire. The new culture empire.
You're rocking with the best.
New culture empire. What is the word? Hold on. All right. I got a double camera on. I'm gonna get out one of these. Webinar tomorrow. We look. It's got the latest addition to the family. Yeah, this one over here. All right, y'all. Why do I have two people on stage? I guess. Y'all, it's been a long day. Just got back in the house over an hour ago. We are back with another one. Damn, I gotta get new. Y'all, I gotta get new. Damn, I gotta get new stickers. That shit say May 25. Damn. Oh shit, I gotta do that tomorrow. Fuck. Ah, damn, I don't forgot. All right, so we are back with another one today. Y'all see me, y'all know what I look like. Now, we are unveiling, we gotta starts tomorrow, going all the way to Tuesday with Thursday.
You're rocking with the best.
The comprehensive webinar. Now, here's the thing. This is the thing what's going on right now, even before the webinar kicks off. We have a settlement conference September 2nd with one of my clients and my group members on their mortgage. So let me give you a backdrop. Before they got with me, when they closed on their mortgage, the homeowner, the borrower, he kind of signed it in an unusual way, and the very next day he did a well, I'm not going to say exactly what he did, but I'll just say that it put it removed all the power of attorneys and the interest, and it was like the interest was assigned back to him. Now, most people would be like, oh, stuff, that's a good move. Now they can't foreclose. Now the interest is all back to me. Yeah, but you got to look at this aspect of it. What's up, y'all? What's up? The problem with that is when you sign the initial application, it is the intent that you were getting a so-called loan, and the loan would be secured by the property. So even if that maneuver with the county recorder was done after you close, the courts are still going to grant the interest back to the lender because that was your intent at the application stage. So if you read your application very carefully, every word, every letter, every syllable, every sentence, you're going to know that it is understood that the home that you are purchasing is going to be the property securing the underlying debt, your payments. Okay. So they received a letter from the attorney, and this attorney, I've been talking to her back and forth. We actually talk offline now. We talk on the phone, and I became their power of attorney over their mortgage situation. So when we first talked, I told them, no, I'm not an attorney. I'm just their power of attorney. I'll be, corresponding with, kind of the go-to. She said, okay, that's great. I'll be going back and forth through you. I said, hey, no problem. Now, the problem was when they got the letter, they're saying the signature and the style did not match the intent at closing. And me, I try to keep it as open as honest with my clients. And I say, yes, the attorney's right. The attorney is right. That they are absolutely right. That was the intent at the application stage. So they filed a Liz Pendez to get the signatures restyled. I responded to the Liz Pendez for them, and then the case was getting continued, and the case got continued, and then we finally reached a settlement agreement with regards to the Liz Pendez, and I talked to her offline. She told me she's going to send the documents to me to forward to my client so we can get a joint proposed order. They went to court today, got that situated, taken care of. And I got the emails with the attorney in case you don't believe me. Now, in the midst of that, their mortgage company filed a foreclosure litigation on the same note that they said wasn't marketable. Your signature, the way you signed it, it's not doing any, we can't sell it or make money, whatever. So I found that interesting that they actually went and tried to foreclose and be slick and try to foreclose on the same note that they said there was a issue with. I found that to be very interesting. So that happened during the miss. I called the attorney. I said, man, I didn't know that you was going to do that. The way me and you were talking, we was going to try to come. She calls me back and says, yeah, they did do it, but they used another law firm to do it. I did not do that. I didn't do it. I had nothing to do with that. If it was up to me, I figured that we'll come to uh, a conclusion to get some resolution to this. So, and I know she wasn't lying because there's another attorney or law firm that initiated it. So they did that, and we moved to file, removed the foreclosure from state case, and we moved it over to the feds. Of course, their lawyers, were to try to block it, but over their objection, the federal courts took jurisdiction because we invoked in the claims that we filed under the federal courts had original jurisdiction. I told you, when it comes to federal courts, I am a surgeon. I am a surgeon with it. Federal lawsuits, I am at federal filings, I am a surgeon. I was one issue raised at sentencing from beating the United States government. My case is on the internet. It's no lie. So now we filed the notice of removal on the 18th, and on the 21st, the judge made their orders. And the first order was to see if it's early September. Early September is the court date. And the number one thing she wanted to figure out is if there's going to be a settlement in the case. Basically saying, hey, see if y'all can settle this. So I have a comprehensive breakdown going to them, what my client wants, because of course I'm moving in their best interest, what they want, how we can resolve this, and if not, we are fully prepared to take this matter trial, beyond trial, wherever it needs to go. We will be able to argue our points over uh four different ways. So meaning we can prove our case from an accounting standpoint, We can prove our case from the security standpoint. We can prove our case from the trust standpoint, and we can prove our case from the taxes standpoint. Because all four of those things interconnect in a financing transaction. Tax law, trust law, securities law, and accounting are four things that are interconnected, and you cannot understand one without understanding the other three. In this webinar, it actually is going to hit over the course of 2 days those four things and why they're interconnected. Another one, we have a lawsuit with Credit Acceptance Corporation. Well, a pending lawsuit. We are right now at the negotiation phase. I filed a federal law. Well, I sent them a notice of filing a lawsuit, raising my issues and claims. The lawyer called me back, and the offer she made was not good enough for me. The offer was for me to take possession of the title and go away. And I responded back yesterday with a counter offer and what I want. And if we cannot reach a resolution, no hard feelings, it's just business. I'll be initiating the lawsuit. The problem with them is they've already settled on multiple different times for the same allegations that I made. And when you're dealing with an auto transaction, that's going to be one of the main points of the webinar. That's going to be one of the main points, which will be held on Zoom, by the way. Most people, when they understand the truth in lending, and first of all, let me just say this. If you are going to take any remedies, repercussions, exert any rights based solely on the physical copy of the contract that you received at closing when you dropped off with the vehicle or when you got the keys to the home, if you are going to get any type of whatever remedy that you think, and all your remedies are being based solely what's on that contract, you have already put yourself behind the 8 ball. Because number one, and these are some of the things that you are going to learn in the webinar, or you're going to learn it. You are going to learn it. Hey, Rome wasn't built in a day. No one's asked you to understand everything right then and there, but you're going to have a foundation and understand that, hey, this ain't no myth. This ain't no theory. This is rooted in law, and I'm talking about proper interpretation of the law. This is why I work closely with professionals who's worked in that field. One of the main professionals who's worked in that field and has extensive knowledge of that field is the ex-SEC attorney right now. Right now. Work with. Secured billions of dollars in fines for the SEC for these same finance companies. So the auto and the more, those are going to be those are going to be the two main topics. And the credit cards is going to be woven into there because it's pretty much different players, but it's all the same game. And if you've been following this journey, you've been following me on TikTok, you're in my Supreme Elite Team group, the securities attorney told my good friend that this stuff is less than 99% of what the attorneys know. Now, I thought that was a stretch. I literally thought, nah, hell nah. Nah, that's a he nah, they're a little probably over exaggerating a little bit. But people from my group who knows people that are attorneys that work for insurance companies and people who are in high places, they bring certain things up to the group to them that they've learned, and the people are just as lost as anyone else out here. Didn't even understand it exists. Prime example, I shot pertinent pages of my motion to law firms, major law firms throughout the United States, the emails that they provided, and I just said, hey, come in. What you think? Get back on me if you want. I don't know, but just get back on what you think. A law firm reached out to me, a lawyer, and if you're in the Supreme Elite Team group, you know this because I dropped it in the group. They actually handle claims for investors of these mortgage-backed and asset-backed securities. They've secured $65 million in settlements from these brokers, the ones who are brokering the deal for the purchase of securities, because of lack of financial disclosures, mischaracterizations of the true nature of the transaction and their liabilities, not artificially inflated returns on the securities, the whole nine. And talking to him, number one, he didn't believe I put the motion together myself. I told him no. Everything means typed by hand. This has spanned over 16 months investigation into credit acceptance operations, their practices, and their last 5 years of their balance sheet. Last 5 years of their balance sheets. Went in, did the calculations, found, and this is what you're going to learn. One thing that most people need to understand is that the accounting for the transaction is actually going to let you know what's really going on. The problem is they don't have a section on the accounting that says loans to consumers, mortgage borrowers, repayment of their loan. No. And especially in an auto, your name or the consumers appear nowhere on the balance sheet. So if you're just looking at the balance sheet for the first time and you don't know how these words are defined, and you don't know how they account for these things, the first thing that you're naturally going to do is look for a word that's familiar to you because your brain's going to identify it and be like, oh, I understand that. But with an auto transaction, they have interwoven, just like in a mortgage transaction, where at minimum, and depending on the company, and if they issue mortgage servicing rights, or if they guarantee mortgage-backed securities, if they're a service company that does that as well, then the transactions are going to be more. But in any finance transaction, there's 4 transactions going on at the same time. There are 4 transactions going on at the same time.
You're rocking with the best.
So, what I found out, and through my counsel with the professionals, and that lawyer that called me, get back to that, he represented claims for the investor side. He is a 30-plus year veteran, one of the top senior partners at this law firm, and he did not even know this side of the transaction existed. Now, he handles the investors, their brokers, deep into the SEC side. He did not know that the same model that they use for IPOs is the same model that they're opposing on consumer transactions. This is why I tell people financing are very complex situations. There are a lot of moving parts and a lot of different players and a lot of agreements that actually govern your agreement. So if you're just looking at the contract and you're trying to put your claims together based on these debt relief and discharge the debt gurus,
As you notice, I don't even use the word discharge the debt anymore because you're not discharging the debt. It's not even applicable to the actual true nature of the transaction. So when you actually take the contract and you look at the numbers on the contract, those numbers don't tell the full story. Yes, it sounds crazy. It sounds well, hold on. You mean there's another side of the transaction that's going on? Yes. And it's that other side of the transaction. You don't see it. You don't even know it's there. They give you no evidence or any hint of its existence, but it is right in front of your face.
You're rocking.
It's right there. So if you say, well, if it's right there, how come I don't see it? The reason why it's right there and you don't see it is because it boils down to one of these things right here. It boils down to the understanding of the system and the foundation that you set for yourself. There are plenty of gurus out here that are going to try to tell you, no, there's another way to do it. Oh, you can live through your trust. Well, the question is, let me just go back on that. Because I see a lot of people on social media and TikTok talking about live through the trust. The problem is, do you even know the rules and regulations govern living through a trust? Do you know that trust wills and estates are even totally way more complex? Do you know the tax implications dealing with trust? And anyone that tells you trust is tax free, you don't pay no taxes, it's just nothing, nothing, nothing. I'm telling you this, they don't know what they're talking about. Anyone that's saying live through your trust, ask them, what's your background in this? Or what professionals do you know that have extensive history and understanding of trust law? Because no matter how much they try to spin it, that there's a separate secret system that you can access through just through the submission of documents. You don't really know what's going on. All you got to do is pay for the verbiage on this document, and that's going to fill in the blanks, which your lack of understanding can't. They are lying to you. There's a set of rules that govern trust law. There's a set of rules that govern securities laws. There's a set of rules that govern tax law. And there's a set of rules that govern accounting standards. And the set of rules are there. The problem is, do you know how to interpret them correctly? Can you point me to any court case where the claims that you are telling me to take, courts have ruled consistently in favor of others who brought those claims? Because, newsflash, there are very few things that are new under the sun. Anybody that's saying this is grandiose, and even given the fact, even though the lawyer said that less than 99% of attorneys know this, that doesn't mean that there aren't rules and regulations that govern it. And I always like to think that there are multiple ways to skin the cat. There are multiple ways to skin the cat. I like to think that. But when it comes to financing, there's only one way to skin the cat in a securitization. Because securitization has their own set of rules and governance, and they got different names and labels to these instruments as they pass through the securitization process. The biggest thing that most people don't know is that your promissory note is not even accounted for as a promissory note on the balance sheet. The deed of trust is not even a deed of trust on the balance sheet. It takes on two different names, two different meanings, governed under two different set of regulations. So when it comes back to the original point, that you are enforcing your rights, enforcing your remedy, I would ask this question. How can you enforce your rights or remedy if you don't even know what's going on? How can I enforce my rights and remedies if I don't know what's going on? Once you understand what's going on, the remedy makes itself evident. It's going to be an effortless thing. You don't even have to think hard about it. It's not even a mathematical equation. It's not even a mathematical equation that you got to figure out, because once you understand the rules to that game and understand the rules that govern their actions, then you will understand your position in that game. And what's the opposite of them not following the rules to that game? Them not following the accounting mandate, them not making the proper disclosures on the securities, them not reporting the taxes accurately, them not reporting the actual value of the assets in the trust. The other side of them not doing those things are your remedy. You see how that goes? It goes hand in hand. The opposite of what they're not doing is your remedy. So I tell the young people that I talk to them. We meet like once about every 2 weeks. The young people, 18. The oldest one is like 24. The youngest one is like 17 in the little group. And I'm teaching them financial literacy while they're still in high school, going to college, and while they're doing, becoming adults and finding their way in life. I'm trying to put this on the back of their mind so when they come into full-blown adulthood, they won't be totally oblivious to what's going on. Now, everybody can come online and say, what I teach is the right way. What I know is the right way. Anybody can get on the mic, get on the computer, turn on the app and say it. The thing about that is, what I say doesn't matter. What anybody else says doesn't matter. The only things that matter is, what does the system recognize? See, we got to get out of thinking that we can just do our own thing and don't have to follow the rules just because we're under some type of belief, because you filed some type of documents with the county that you're not under the jurisdiction of the United States. But everybody that I've known who's gotten to a mortgage, auto, credit card transaction, everyone that I've known has never entered to these transactions in the private. They wasn't sitting in the middle of their living room signing these documents. They walked into a public bank, financial institution, or broker, or mortgage broker. They walked into the dealership and they signed those papers the dealership provided, signed those papers the mortgage company provided. Guess what? Those papers, those documents, everything, they're all governed by the set of rules. So regardless if you call yourself waking up and feel like you're not governed by those rules, but guess what? You are. Now, I can show you court case after court case after court case where people who have sued their mortgage company talking the vapor money theory. Got them bikes out tonight. Talking about the vapor money theory, talking about the modern money mechanics, talking about a 60K V trust, talking about HJR 192, talking about public law 7310, live debt free. You don't got to pay your bills. Just be debt free, debt free, debt free, debt free, 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 free. And you will see what the courts have to say time and time and time and time and time again. Now, what they were doing back in the early 90s, those little victories they was getting in 1991 and 1992, The judges from all county states across the United States of America have actually came together and have conferences, annual conferences, to address the issues of those who think like that. None of that works today. I have not seen anyone say that I'm living debt free because I invoked HJR 192. And it gives more understanding, and I understand why. But the fact that you are actually trying to get out of debt also lets me know that you still don't understand the system. Because in the webinar, we're not talking about how to get out of debt. These are tricks you do. The webinar teaches you how to come on equal footing and be the actual creditor and the contributor that the IRS has already said, that the accounting already indicates, and what have courts already determined. Ask them, hey, can you show me some court cases where the judge ruled in favor of the same things you're talking about now? Show me some federal court cases. Because a lot of these claims, and a lot of stuff that people are talking about, these are fallen. Accounting, federal. Securities, federal. IRS, obviously federal. Trust law is a creature of equity as it is recognized and applied in each individual state. And then, of course, the federal has their own equity federal common law standard, in which, or if you don't know, the court case of 1938, federal common law and equity was merged. It's no longer a actual court. You can't go into a federal common law court anymore. It's a doctrine that's invoked to provide you equitable relief. So when you go and it only applies in civil cases. Why do you think when lawsuits are filed, they say and other equitable relief as this court may grant? That's the merging of federal common law and equity to provide you equitable relief under the principles of fairness and equity. And that can only take place in a civil federal courtroom. And you don't have to go to school. I didn't have to go to school and get my MB from Harvard and work on Wall Street as an investment banker for 10, 15 years for me to figure this out. Or have a decorated career in financing and securitization and corporate financing for 25 years. All I had to do was learn the foundations to the game that I'm about to play, and then connect my sales with the professionals that have already been there, done that in that field, to make sure my interpretation is correct. This is one of the reasons why you don't ever see real life professionals in these people groups. I'm not talking about these manufacturer made up 1099A trustees that were coming out of nowhere. And I got emails on that. None of them knew what the hell they were doing. I'm not talking about this same phantom CPA that all these different gurus knew, the same CPA that you never see, or the same what is securities brokers that ain't never in the lives. What professionals do they have that they can get information to and from on a daily basis? See, if I want to get some clarification on something, that's a text away. If I need something for the attorney, that's a text away. That ain't nothing but a text. Or that's a phone call. Hey, such and such. Hey, I want to run this by boo, boo, boo. All right, this is what it is. All right, okay. All right, I'm going to run it by and let you know what he said. That's just as simple as it gets. But the one who actually knows the attorney, why because he's been around the space watching for a long time. Why? And this guy's a professional, got his clearance to be a Series 7 securities broker. And this is why we can actually find real numbers and real QSIPs and real assignments to trust. Not that same old document, not this. This is what we don't find. Oh, don't tell me I deleted it. Oh yeah. This is what we don't give. No, this is not the research that the broker's gonna come back with. Y'all know what this is. The same one that everybody that does QSIPs, they always send you this same letter. Nah, we ain't talking about this. See, that we ain't talking about that. We're talking about using real portals, Euroclear, things like that. Things where you gotta have a clearance to access. So anybody that's saying that they got QSIPs for sale, ask them, do you have a clearance for it? Are you licensed to issue QSIPs? Where did the QSIPs come from? Where'd you get your QSIPs from? Are you licensed to pull them? Because you got to be licensed to pull these things. Just in case you ain't know. You can't just go and just pull a QSIP, especially the ones that are not public, the ones that you got to go in the system and find. You got to be licensed. You got to be cleared to use Euroclear to prevent frauds and scams. You got to put your credentials in before you use it. How you think I know? The broker told me. And he ain't just a broker, actually. He's actually one of my good friends. So I talk to him all the time. And it's not just the SEC attorney. This person knows he's good friends with the lawyer for Morgan and Morgan. Got connections to 25-year vet accountants that's done some of the accounting for the major law firms and major corporates, and the SEC did some work for the SEC. See, the thing that what I'm basically trying to tell you is this is not your run-of-the-mill, same old stuff that you heard 2 years ago. Same old stuff everybody's peddling. So easy a caveman could do it like process. We're talking about attacking these people from their level. And this is the corporate level. And I'm going to be honest. I fully understand that some things just aren't for some people. No, I fully get it. There's some things that ain't for me. I know it just ain't my thing. Some people, and I say some because not all, are not, and here's another one thing that just being alive, an adult in this country, your time gets eaten up to the point where you don't have the time. Some people, well, most people don't have the time to sit back and break all this stuff down. I mean, bad enough they got the everyday hustles and bustles of life. And even the gurus, they don't want to allocate that time to actually put together a proper curriculum, because no matter what they classes they offer, stuff that they selling, I guarantee you, if I do my deep dive research, it's already a class or package that's already been sold. What are the odds that 5 different teachers on these platforms had classes talking about the banking and FDIC? Claim your $250,000 insurance. What are the odds? You mean to tell me that everybody, those teachers did all their research at the same time, came to the same conclusion, type the identical words on the overview, the identical words. I mean, God, I need to go get a lottery ticket. I know, for real. What's the mega billions? I'm going to hit it. If that was a lottery ticket, I'd be a billionaire 300 times over right now. Because what are the odds of 5 teachers typing the same identical thing? What are the odds? What are the odds of $2.5 million trust class for the business and $1.5 million for the individual? What are the odds multiple teachers sold that? What are the odds? What are the odds? Another odd. What are the odds that multiple teachers have status corrections for sale? A status correction, according to the Moore Science Temple brother Sunil that we reviewed on my last live, your status or nationality is not a legal issue. It's a social issue. It's not a legal issue. What are the odds everyone's telling you to file a foreign grantor trust? What are the odds of everybody saying become foreign, get out the jurisdiction of the United States? But you know one thing about that get out the jurisdiction of the United States that none of those teachers who push that theory or push that, whatever you call it, what they forgot to tell you was, in order for you to fully expatriate yourself and become out of the jurisdiction of the United States and become foreign to the United States, you have to make sure all your taxes are paid. All your unfiled tax returns are filed and taxes paid on any amounts that you may owe. You see what I'm saying? But you know what I haven't seen any teacher in my 3 years on social media talk about? You know one thing, and I done scoured this landscape 10 times over, back through and through, from the old videos to the new videos and everything in between. You know what they didn't talk about? You know what I haven't heard them say? I haven't heard them do anything that you are about to watch.
This lawsuit against Credit Acceptance Corporation is this lawsuit against Credit Acceptance.
Uh-oh.
This lawsuit against Credit Acceptance Corporation.
I can't see it on my end. Give me 1 second. Watch this. Give me 1 second. Something has happened. All right. This is what I haven't. Everything you're about to see. This is what I haven't seen. And pay close attention to the phone call. Because, I make phone calls to these people. And I get just as much information from phone calls with them. And, I got phone calls with CUSIP Global. I got phone calls with a lot of them. I got phone calls with the same finance company that I'm about to put the scalpel to. And actually got an admission. So this is what I haven't seen.
This lawsuit against Credit Acceptance Corporation isn't just about one contract. It's about exposing a nationwide scheme that's been hiding in plain sight. Credit Acceptance structured my agreement to look like a simple car loan, But behind the scenes, they securitized it, retained control, and charged a 23.99% interest rate, well above Virginia's legal limit. That's not just deceptive, it's unlawful, and they're doing that in every state they operate in. If Virginia steps in this case, could trigger a wave of enforcement against lenders who use dealer advance programs to disguise true lending relationships. And if the federal government follows through, the IRS, CFPB, or SEC, then consumer lenders across the country will be forced to rethink how they structure, report, and enforce their contracts. This lawsuit demands restitution, recharacterization, and accountability. But more than that, it could set precedents, forcing leaders to respect substance over form and putting consumers back in control of their financial rights. The system's been rigged long enough. Now it is actually time to expose it accurately. And the claims that I'm raising in my lawsuit are the same claims that Credit Acceptance has settled numerous of times with investors, other consumers, or state attorney generals who actually stepped up and held them accountable. This lawsuit is the first lawsuit in the history of the Fourth Circuit and all other federal circuits where claims of this magnitude has been brought against Credit Acceptance Corporation or any other finance corporation from a consumer capacity. You normally see these lawsuits filed by attorney generals of states or the lawyers for the investors. Never have you seen these claims filed from a consumer standpoint. I've seen a lot of consumer complaints and lawsuits filed against Credit Acceptance and other finance companies, but they all have missed the mark because they are approaching it and attacking it from a consumer-like standpoint and doesn't have the mindset of a creditor or a lender to attack them on the level in which they operate. This lawsuit could actually spark a reform in consumer financing. I am one man taking on the complex system. So, it further goes to says that this is what took place, man. I signed the contract. The dealership transferred that contract to Credit Acceptance. Credit Acceptance now had the proper collateral so they can issue trust notes to the investors. The investors put the money up for my dealer for the purchase price in exchange for the contractables in which where I will be making my monthly payments. Cool. No issue with that. The thing is, and your legal department admitted that Credit Acceptance never gave me any type of funding in order to even support a contract, which is not a big deal. Rather, they got my promise to pay the security and they was able to raise the funds for the purchase. So is it that credit, and this is their own words, I'm reading from and it's filed with the SEC. So is it more that Credit Acceptance really just acted as a broker between me, the one that needed financing, and the ones who's willing to invest in my contract? So you all just kind of mainly were just the middleman to broker the deal instead of really being a lender in the traditional sense, like Credit Acceptance went into their own back pocket and put up the money. You kind of more broker the transaction. Is that more of an accurate statement?
Well, I'll be damned.
Reminiscing the good old days, remembering to forget all the bad ones. I remember when college seemed so important, but is it worth it?
See, what I don't see is getting on the phone with them, Not asking, how did it go? You securitize it so the debt is discharged. Actually told them this is how it went. Not from the consumer standpoint, from the corporate standpoint, the standpoint that you don't see on the contract. And reduce them over the phone. Reduce them from a lender, lien holder, title holder, creditor to just a glorified middleman. Reduce them to that over the phone. And then ask the question, is that more of an accurate statement of how it really went from the substance of it? And you heard it, even though it's minor. Yes. That yes says it all what I need. All once I got her to say that, I went in overdrive. But I didn't. I I I wanted to actually finish it for the simple fact because it actually gives you a bigger picture of what's really going on. It's a bigger picture going on. Let me see if I can. Hold on. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can fast forward it. Let me see.
This lawsuit against Credit Acceptance Corporation isn't just about one contract. It's about exposing a nationwide scheme.
Probably not. Probably won't be able to fix because I'm not on the computer. But at the end of the video, what you're going to see is you're going to see after when I say I'll be damned, the end of the video, what you do see is everything that I talked about that's in my lawsuit, you're going to see that they already settled for. See, the claims that we're talking about, these companies have already settled for. See, the problem with what I see in this landscape is teachers are not showing that any of these companies have settled for the same claims that you're presenting. As a matter of fact, this is what most of these companies are getting. And this came from a teacher across the street and one of his peoples that pay for mortgage discharge services. This is what they got. You see that? The document that the item does not create a duty with or impose any obligation on PNC. The document has no legal consequences. You see that? Worthless. And this is what they're selling. Worthless air. Nothing. Dead on arrival. You may wish to review the following cases in which items similar to the ones you sent to PNC have been rejected by the courts as frivolous and listed a host of court cases that back up the claim. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? I mean, this is what you get. This is what they got. This was sent to me. Hmm? Where do you go from there? You gonna file an administrative claim with them? They're not scared of that. They look, you can't even win in court with this. No legal consequence. You know what legal consequence means? That hey, we may lose this in court if we kind of don't try to resolve this issue with them. We may lose this in court. We may lose this. But look at all these mortgage groups, and I ain't talking about the low content credit. I'm talking about the ones that be on these major podcasts selling all these debt relief. I'm talking about them, the ones that just trying to get their bills paid, the ones that just trying to survive by selling packages. I ain't worried about them. They ain't got a damn clue. No professional in their right mind will ever even co-sign none of the stuff they talk about. I ain't talking about them. They're not even. To be honest, at this point, they're not even relevant. And this is just one of the pearls of being connected to people who are in higher places. Like people send me the message, hey, So you should talk to this guy. He seems pretty knowledgeable about mortgages. And the first thing, man, all right, what's his background? What's his qualifications? Who we connected to? Because, like, the thing about this is, why am I going to listen to anything that you have to say when I can just go to the ex-SEC attorney to get any type of inside shit that I need done? Why? What? Like, why? Like, I got access to information that's not even made public. So what the fuck am I going to listen to this guy for? No disrespect, but it's a waste of my time. It's a waste. What are you going to tell me that the person that actually secured billions of dollars in fines against these same finance companies, what are you going to tell me that this this professional can't tell me that can truly aid and assist in getting the job done? What are you going to tell me that is so different? Just like everybody's running around an $800 billion stimulus packet. It was pushed out to the people. 800 billion, 800 billion. We got the real numbers. We got the real numbers. And it was never publicized, never talked about. They fed everybody 800 billion. That was nowhere near the real number. I didn't know that. I didn't know. But now the access and the connections to professionals, I'm privy to some things that you're just not going to see out there through research. And that's one of the pearls of, kind of knowing some inside stuff. So yes, I got, I don't go share it around with the whole world because I understand some of this stuff is sensitive. And I don't want to, go down that lane. But when in private capacity in my Supreme Elite Team group, we go over a lot of that stuff. It's a lot of the stuff that we go over over in the group that it's readily available to the internet. On the internet, you can easily find it. But here's the thing, though: the search engine ain't gonna bring up nothing that you don't input in. It's like with AI. AI is only as good as the information you put into it, the information that you train it on. Because AI can be inaccurate. It can give you their own little views, and they may not be wired to handle the intricacies of it. But if you input that data into AI, then you may get spit out some good things. But I wouldn't trust 100% on AI because what AI can't do, the human mind can. There's nothing that's going to be able to replace our human brains. Nothing. That is the most unique, powerful muscle in the body. The human brain is still not fully understood. And the way you train any parts of your body, if you want more muscles, the same way you train your brain. You start feeding your subconscious mind the proper stuff, the proper foundation. I swear to God, it be at the wildest times in the middle of the night while you sleep. You just start figuring shit out in your sleep. You got to wake up and write it down. And to the point where it starts to come to you effortlessly. That doesn't start with the wrong foundation. Because this is a system that is ever evolving. It's a system that is going to remain complex, and these people are always going to find ways, loopholes to get around the system and change the rules during the middle of the game. And we have to learn how to adapt and change with the rules. And that is one of the things that you're going to learn in the webinar is how to adapt and change with the rules and understand the game they play. See, you can't get your remedy against them unless you understand how they operate. You can't make up your remedy with this. Trust me, you can't make up your own remedy and slap it on the paper and say, all right. Like all these notices and ID cards, those things are created. They're made. They're made. All these notices and this and affidavit of truth and this, that self-created stuff. Yeah, everybody creates their own documents, but does it have any legal force and effect? And do you understand the proper context of what you're reading? Prime example, HJR 192. Do you think most of the people actually read the whole HJR 192? Did you actually read the whole resolution? Most people going around screaming it and never read the whole resolution, just like telephone. HCR 192 is a remedy. All right, HCR 192 is a remedy. They took the gold from us. All right, they took the gold from us. That mindset never gets you victories. See, I'm teaching you how to think for yourself. Be independent thinkers. Because unless you become an independent thinker, you're never going to be able to lead anyone, and you're not going to be able to navigate in this system, because 98% that what's out here is not what is actually accurate and what you need to be studying to effectively navigate yourself through this web of financing transactions in which they have attached to the necessities of our lives. I don't, and here's the thing. You ain't got to take my word for it. You want to see it for yourself. And not only see it for yourself, because everybody says that you're going to see it for yourself. The problem with the people is they don't have any full information or understanding to be able to decipher whether what the teacher is saying is accurate or not. This is why I'm tired of this blind faith. Follow the teacher just because you like them, or follow the teacher just because they say it. Whatever the teacher is saying, go back and do your double, triple research on it. Go back and do your research. Fact check it. Which sources are they citing? Which sources are they citing? If you hear them talk for 2 hours and they didn't cite no source, take you to no professional documents, no court case or nothing, and it's just all talk, they're telling you what to do, I would be very cautious, because there's no source that they can go to gauge what you're saying is correct. And the problem is, a lot of the sources that they cite are the same revisionist sovereign citizen stuff that they done been recycling for 40 years. They think that today, all they got to do is take the names off it, don't identify as a sovereign citizen, renounce the name, denounce the name, substitute the OID for the 1099B, and it's a whole new process. It's still the same thing. With those 1099Bs, they're doing this. It's still the same thing. They just move from the that's all they do. They move for the name that got the form that got much heat right now and move to another one. Soon as the 1099B gets to back more heat, where they gonna move to next? Back to the A. A get a lot of heat. What they gonna do next? They're gonna move back to the C. And it's not the forms itself, it's the improper use of them. And as us being humans, we are all prone to make mistakes. We are prone for. We're all human. No, none of us are above that. But if you spot something in error, or later find some information that contradicts what you said earlier, or this provides more context, and this would be a better way to go, the noble thing to do is come back to your group and let them know, hey, yeah, I know we did this, but look, this is the change, and this is why we changed it. No, they're in fear of being wrong, of being looked at like they don't know what they're talking about, because they don't know anyway. So I don't know why they're in fear of that. They don't know. They don't know. But they'll still push the same things, all because they don't want to be looked at as they got it wrong. Well, here's a news flash for you. Before you start really winning in these systems, you're going to go through your bumps and bruises. You're going to take some L's. You're going to get your hand hit by the legal 2x4 before you start winning. You're going to go through some learning lessons before you perfect your craft. And if you are trying to evade the learning lessons, the vigorous foundation building phase, and you just want to move straight to the end goal, that's cool. The problem is, you need to seriously, you're not vetting the people that say that they got it for you, they'll put the documents together. You have to vet them. When it comes to mortgage lawsuits, auto, credit card lawsuits, federal filings, when it comes to anyone without a license past the bar, when it comes to that, I am unmatched in this space. And I've seen a lot of people's legal documents. I am unmatched. And it's not because I say I'm unmatched. I actually got real life professional attorneys reviewing my documents. No, I literally got professionals, 2 or 3 professionals that reviews my documents before I put them in publication. I mean, I double, triple, quadruple check my stuff, but I'm like, hey, got access to them. Why not put a different set of eyes on it? That ain't no different from professional lawyers at a law firm. They got this big case coming up. They're done. They'll pass it on to one of their senior partners. Hey, go over this. Let me know what you think. Here's the file. I got a case coming. Hey, can you review it? Let me know what you think. They do it all the time. There's nothing wrong with that. It's always good to get an extra set of eyes and opinion. And everything that I'm saying, it's not even fucking a sales pitch. It's really just basic being practical and just normal understanding and logic that a lot of people, listen, y'all, you don't know how the system operates. You may think you do, but you don't know, and it's okay. It's way more complex than what they're trying to tell y'all. I'm not going to sit here and blow smoke up your ass and say, oh, yeah, yep, in 5 days, you'll be a wizard in this. No, because that's a determination that you're going to make through your own independent study and efforts. But at least the foundation that you get, at least, depending on the package you get, at least the basics, you're going to learn. One thing that I say this, anybody that joins my Supreme Elite Team group by default, anybody that goes takes one of my classes by default, instantaneously, you're going to learn more. You're going to know more than the teachers out here already. You're going to know more than the teachers out here teaching this, whatever, on social media. You're gonna learn more than them. Oh, must be a good day. My wife giving me some money. Sorry. Hey, that's a rare event. My wife gave me some money. Man, that's good. I don't even see that much, but shit, I'll take that. Shit, I take it all. Shit. But yeah, man, like telling you, telling you. Depending on if I have time tomorrow, I think because it's going to be held on Zoom, I may have, okay, y'all know how wrestling events go back, well, how they go now? Back then they had the preview, they had the live preview, and it was free, the free-for-all, wrestling back in the day, and you'll be able to watch the pay-per-view event for, the beginning stages and all this, and then when it gets to the pay-per-view, it gives you time to go buy the pay-per-view. But the free-for-all, I think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm gonna have a free-for-all probably within the first hour. When I go over, I'm probably gonna start it at 6, the free-for-all, and I'm just gonna drop the link, the free-for-all, and then at 7 when it starts, I just remove the free-for-all people out of there. I think I'm gonna do that. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna do that. So by the time 7 o'clock goes, only the people that's going to be remaining for the whole webinar will be the ones who actually secured their seat. So I think I'll do a free fall. Yeah. I'm gonna figure it out tonight. I think I know how to do it. Yeah, I'm gonna do a free fall. But once 7 o'clock come, we're gonna get started with the official and that free fall. Yeah, we're not gonna start of what's gonna be the actual curriculum for 7 o'clock. It's gonna be a free fall. Give got any questions? Answer a few questions. I am going to have the broker in there. He's going to be in there, and we're just going to have go over the overview. Why you need, I think it'll be in your best interest because here's the thing. I'm not sitting here promise you the moon in the sky. Only thing I'm promising is that at least you'll start to understand what's going on. You don't even get to the remedy unless you understand what's going on. Now, there are some people who just pay to cut the line and say, fuck it, just do it for me. I don't want to learn the shit. And some people, I'd rather respect that more. But if you know you're not going to take the time and really stay at this and hone your craft, whether it's me or anybody else, you're just wasting your time. And you're going to be finding yourself paying a whole lot of money for shortcuts that most likely are not going to manifest the way you want them to. Because number one, the unrealistic expectations in these spaces are the plague. It's like the plague. It's like the plague. And like I said, I got settlements brewing. I got lawsuits on the table. Me and my team, we're going to be good regardless. Like me, I'm going to be good regardless. I be trying to tell y'all, I'm going to be good regardless. I'm going to be good regardless. I'm going to be good regardless. I swear to God, I'm going to be good regardless. But I'm telling you, if you tired of spinning your wheels, and I'm talking about everything that's going to be backed up from a professional standard. It's not going to be no vague interpretation of what I think it's saying. You're going to see it from the professional documents that I have. You're going to see it black and white. And this will get you started on understanding the system so you can properly assert your claims. Some of you, you just probably missing a few pieces. Some of you need the whole shebang. Wherever you at, we're going to meet you where you at. But thomaslegacy603@gmail.com. The actual registration sheet, did I post it in the community tab? I think I did. No, I think I forgot. But don't worry, I am going to post that in the community tab. Check the community tab. It has multiple ranges where you can do. This is not the professional class I'm teaching, meaning I'm teaching people that kind of working because they get charged way more and they pay it right now. No, I'm dead serious. I taught a class with a person that works for BMI. Nah, for real. You know, it's word of mouth. Hey, y'all got a person work here. Hey, they interested. They trying to see because they work in this field. They work in this field. And these are the professionals. So the professional packages are they're way more expensive because these are professionals. This is not I'm not pricing it like I'm teaching professionals. It's affordable, but it gives you a range. And it's not so much about the money for me where it is for the understanding. So you can come back and say, yeah, Thomas Leckey, yeah. And that's all I ask after you do. After you just rate the webinar afterwards. Rate the webinar afterwards. But one thing you're not going to be able to do is be like, oh man, that's just like everything else, everybody else. Because what I'm going to teach, I guarantee you that you don't even know exist. I guarantee that. And anybody want to make a bet with me? We could do a bet. We can do a bet. I guarantee you it's going to be something that you didn't even know exist. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. I'm going to bet on those odds. When the lawyer said less than over 99% of attorneys don't know this, oh yeah, I'm betting. I'm betting for the normal people. Oh, you don't even know it exists. Oh, I'm taking those odds. Facts. Don't be missing. Starting at 7 o'clock. 7:30. Between 7:15 and 7:30. But I think I'm gonna have the free fall by like 6:30. Between 6:30. I had a free fall. I'll let you know when the free fall starts. I'll drop the link. I'll drop the link. I will drop the link. Free fall 7 o'clock. Once it gets started, if you are not secured your seat, I'm gonna have to remove you. No pressure, no problems, no issue. I have to remove you. Of course, Premier League team members, they get their they got their own exclusive package. That's another thing about joining the Premier League team. When I get the webinars, you get the best deals, you get the best packages. Yeah. You know, we a family over there, and we cooking up every day. And I know everybody says they cooking up, but nah, we cooking up from a professional level where the cooking is professionally approved, professionally taught, professional approved, ex-SEC attorney approving everything I'm saying. Let's run it all the way up.
This lawsuit against Credit Acceptance Corporation isn't just about one contract. It's about exposing a nationwide scheme that's been hiding in plain sight. Credit Acceptance structured my agreement to look like a simple car loan, but behind the scenes, they securitized it, retained control, and charged a 23.99% interest rate, well above Virginia's legal limit. That's not just deceptive, it's unlawful, and they're doing that in every state they operate in. If Virginia steps in this case, could trigger a wave of enforcement against lenders who use dealer advance programs to disguise true lending relationships. And if the federal government follows through, the IRS, CFPB, or SEC, then consumer lenders across the country will be forced to rethink how they structure, report, and enforce their contracts. This lawsuit demands restitution, recharacterization, and accountability. But more than that, it could set precedents, forcing leaders to respect substance over form and putting consumers back in control of their financial rights. The system's been rigged long enough. Now it is actually time to expose it accurately. And the claims that I'm raising in my lawsuit are the same claims that Credit Acceptance has settled numerous of times with investors, other consumers, or state attorney generals who actually stepped up and held them accountable. This lawsuit is the first lawsuit in the history of the Fourth Circuit and all other federal circuits where claims of this magnitude has been brought against Credit Acceptance Corporation or any other finance corporation from a consumer capacity. You normally see these lawsuits filed by attorney generals of states or the lawyers for the investors. Never have you seen these claims filed from a consumer standpoint. I've seen a lot of consumer complaints and lawsuits filed against Credit Acceptance and other finance companies, but they all have missed the mark because they are approaching it and attacking it from a consumer-like standpoint and doesn't have the mindset of a creditor or a lender to attack them on the level in which they operate. This lawsuit could actually spark a reform in consumer financing. I am one man taking on the complex system. So, it further goes to says that this is what took place, man. I signed the contract. The dealership transferred that contract to Credit Acceptance. Credit Acceptance now had the proper collateral so they can issue trust notes to the investors. The investors put the money up for my dealer for the purchase price in exchange for the contract in which where I will be making my monthly payments. Cool. No issue with that. The thing is, and your legal department admitted that Credit Acceptance never gave me any type of funding in order to even support a contract, which is not a big deal. Rather, they got my promise to pay the security and they was able to raise the funds for the purchase. So is it that credit, and this is their own words, I'm reading from and it's filed with the SEC. So is it more that Credit Acceptance really just acted as a broker between me, the one that needed financing, and the ones who's willing to invest in my contract? So you all just kind of mainly were just the middleman to broker the deal instead of really being a lender in the traditional sense, like Credit Acceptance went into their own back pocket and put up the money. You kind of more brokered the transaction. Is that more of an accurate statement? Well, I'll be damned.
Reminiscing the good old days, remembering to forget all the bad ones. I remember when college seemed so important, but is it worth it? Been wondering what truly matters to me. I know for sure it's not a fancy degree. I'd like to do what I love, but what if I'm not good reality. Sometimes sour, sometimes sweet. An M. Night Shyamalan story called Everything's Peachy. Can we just skip straight to the plot twist, please? Life's all about balance.
Let's run it up. Let's get them. Another thing you're going to learn, and this is the sad part. This is actually the sad part. God damn it. They what they do is they say that you got to pay X amount of dollars back, way more than the principal amount. But what it actually costs them to transfer it, pennies on a dollar. In the webinar, you're going to learn that's what you really owe, not what it says on the contract. Per the IRS. Per the IRS. Per. Per the IRS. That's a fact. Gotta head to the store right quick. Nice features, man. I'm trying to. Oh, connection failed. Oh, I got it. I got it right here. Oh, not connected. Hold on, y'all. Can't do that. I I got it now. Y'all can probably hear me. Can y'all hear me? Yeah, y'all can hear me. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Going over tax part also, of course. Of course I'm going over tax part. Of course. Because all that interconnects into our claims. And it actually is going to be, can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Put a one if you can hear me. It looks like y'all can hear me. Can y'all hear me? No sound? Yeah, I'm gonna have to disconnect the Bluetooth. All right, so it's gonna be taxes, recovery is not going to be the whole contract itself. It's not what the IRS says. The recovery is going to be on certain parts of it. Number two, you're going to learn where they underreported the income. That's tax evasion. Number three, you're going to understand the true natures of the transaction. Federal lawsuit reviews, court cases that's confirming everything. And you're going to understand from a tax standpoint how to accurately submit your forms against these transactions and what they're not doing, what they're supposed to do, how the transaction's supposed to go, and how this is going to fuel the fire for a federal lawsuit. All that's going to be wrapped into the over 2 days. It's going to officially kick off between 7:15 and 7:30, and it will be held on Zoom. Don't trip, y'all. It's just tea. And we taking it there, but I thought I had my stuff connected, but it looks like my stuff is not here. So, any questions? Send me an email. Any questions? Send me an email. Any questions? Send me an email, and I'll answer any questions that you have. Also, Supreme Elite Team, we help with service, federal lawsuits, whistleblowers, whistleblower complaints, IRS snitching on them about the lack of taxes, letters to hold their feet to the fire, auto seat adjustment. No, I don't need no auto seat adjustment. Connect phone. I ain't gonna be able to do it while I'm on here. All right, y'all. So email tomorrow, 20 and 21st. Like I said, we already got lawsuits and settlements going on right now, and we're going to continue to keep the envelope pushed. If you already lost your home, we can don't trip. Repossession, just in a bad contract. And I'm going to show you how a lot of these finance companies are not even qualified and licensed to even be issuing any type of loans anyway. That's another part of it. And yes, the service she's going to show you, and we got the basic level. You just wanted a 10, but depending on what you got, you're going to determine whether you get the whistleblower element, the proper forms that you need to attach to your tax return to evidence the transaction, and how you need what label and heading you have to put on your tax return. Yes, the IRS says there's a certain label and heading you got to put on your tax return so they know how to process it. That's a fact. Oh, you're going to hold on. Don't even trip. You're going to read it black and white tomorrow. Don't even trip. Don't even trip. Don't trap. You're going to read it black and white tomorrow. All right, I'm headed to the store. Let me get up out of here. Supreme Elite Team, New Culture Empire. We back with another one. We are going to continue to keep pushing. Run it up. That's a fact. That's a fact, Tony. You know where we at. All right, y'all. One gone.
According to your conversation with your friend, the attorney, what we go over in group is right in line with the legal standards and the professionalism on how it has to look and what you need to know when you attack these people.
The words that he used was, "You're going about it standard operating procedures."